Hey there, everybody. Ed Lemberger here with another installment here of Metaphysical Musing, and I'm going to talk about, last week's debate and some of the issues that have happened here in the last week or so. Andrew Yang, of course, my main guy, he said he suspended his campaign. I guess that means that maybe he could unsuspend it, but who knows what's going to happen. But I was watching the debate, and I watched the whole thing, and the last times I watched the debates, I watched it just to see how Andrew Yang would handle the whole thing. And this time I was watching it to see how Michael Bloomberg would handle it, and he was under attack, and it was sort of interesting to me. I'm looking at this, I'm trying to take an objective stance on this whole thing. Now, I am very liberal, but it's my belief that people are born with a certain brain style. So people are born leaning conservative or born leaning liberal, and that is the paradigms that we're dealing with. And the conservative mind is going to be a hard time understanding that. Is going to have a hard time understanding the liberal mind. The liberal mind is going to have, I think the liberal mind is a more universal mind than the conservative mind. The conservative mind is more of a pattern mind. Okay, I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I'm just saying this is how I observe life and living in human beings. Okay. So we're born a certain way, just like some people are born natural singers. Some people are born natural athletes. Some people are born to take the Mensa test and do a great job. Some people are born to be dancers and might not do so well on the Mensa test. So, I view intelligence in a lot of different ways. I've got a friend of mine who he scored higher in math on his entrance exam to a major university. He scored the highest out of anybody that entered the university for over a decade. It took over a decade until somebody topped his score. And then by that time the test had changed a little bit anyway. And this man is so intelligent when it comes to math, but he told me he has a hard time spelling like even four-letter words. So on that part of it, his intelligence isn't so great, but with math and computers and everything, it's very high on the scale. And I was talking to another friend of mine, and she said she never really understood intelligence in that particular way because she knows this person too. And she thought, it's interesting. I thought intelligence, if you had one type of intelligence, you're kind of had a broad breadth of intelligence. But I don't think that's the case. Everybody's got a different gift. And you can see it where you see like a 3-4-year-old kid playing piano and he never took 20 years of lessons because he's only 3 or 4 years old, but he can play better than people who've taken 20 years of lessons. So look, we're all born with certain gifts, and that's why I really don't like to fight between this conservative and liberal thing and socialism, capitalism, and all these ideas, okay? Because if we could really open up our minds, we all have different subsets of intelligence. No one human being has all of the aspects of intelligence that are capable that humans are capable of having. Everybody's got a certain subset of intelligence. Okay. Now I look at things from a nature perspective, the soil and the seed. Okay. Now the soil feeds the seed and not the other way around. So every seed, if you plant an apple tree, the seed has a pattern of an apple tree, and it's got the miracle of how to grow that apple tree, but it doesn't have any substance. all of the wood and all of the leaves and everything that the tree becomes, it has received that substance from the elements of the earth and the water and the sunlight. So the soil has more universal intelligence because it knows how to feed every seed, and it knows how to deliver the right ingredients for every seed to prosper, as long as it's planted correctly and has enough water and enough sunlight to operate and enough space to operate. So to me, soil is universal. The seed is individual. So if you've got a liberal mind, you've got more of a soil-based mind. And if you're a conservative, you've got more of a seed-based mind. That's how I'm thinking of it, okay? I could be wrong. And you have to make up your mind, though, because my disclaimer on all my videos is it's your mind. You've got to make sure it's you that's using it. It's your mind. You've got to make up, you've got to put everything through your own intelligence filters and make your own decisions. Don't take what I say as gospel. Don't take what anybody says as gospel. Figure this stuff out for yourself, seek your own counsel, make your own decisions. Okay, you're 100% responsible for what you do, say, for how you act. So, getting back to the debate. So, when we look at these individuals, let's look at Michael Bloomberg. He's amassed, $60 billion? So, his energy field he's got a receiver energy field now. Very few humans that are born could amass $60 billion. That's just how it is. You know, he was born with the potential to do it, and he did do it. But he did it because I know he says that he quit his job or whatever at 39 years old and started this company, but that's just what was within the seed pattern that he was born with, okay? And I view it the same way I do professional athletes, let's say. You know, you can't practice good enough to be LeBron James, let's put it that way. Or you can't practice enough to be Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback like that. You have to be born with the DNA to be able to respond to those things. I believe billionaires are the same way. Now, people probably look at human beings and they say, well, anybody could, if they studied and they worked as hard as these people, they could do just what these people did, that these other people worked harder and worked smarter. Well, no, unfortunately, I don't think they did. I mean, I'm at that age now where I'm looking at this thing objectively, and I'm looking at it from kind of afar, from a place of, years of living on this planet and observing things. And so Michael Bloomberg is a receiver type of an energy field person, okay? Everybody on the debate stage is a receiver type person because you don't get there without being a receiver type person. If you're a donor type person, you don't really run for president. Now, if you're a receiver type person, I want to look at things. Do these receiver type people have a heart, or are they just like stone cold blooded, Michael Bloomberg, I look at him and just my observations, he's pretty stone cold blooded. He really doesn't have a heart. I mean, he wants to go up against Trump. It's kind of like a challenge to him to beat this guy Trump. Does he really have any ideas on how to make America a better place? No, he doesn't. I haven't heard any. They all say, I did this and I did that. What are you going to do for the people, for all of the people, not what you did, okay? And there's a couple of red flags about Michael Bloomberg that I don't, not too crazy about. You know, one of them is this stop and frisk thing. The other one is trying to get everybody in New York to buy, you know, where you couldn't sell over 16 ounces of soda at one time. Those type of things like that are cult leaderish type of ideas, and it shows a person who doesn't have the heart. Okay, like in The Wizard of Oz, the people were all, one of them thought they didn't have a brain, the other one thought they didn't have courage, and the other one thought they didn't have a heart, but in the end they melded mind and heart together. And where is the melding of mind and heart? Is it in Michael Bloomberg? I'm not observing that it is. Is it in Elizabeth Warren? Well, being a woman is more of a, I look at it as more of a soil type of a person, a human being. Men are the seed people, women are the soil people. Okay, women receive the seed. They've got elements of the seed too. Everybody's got elements of both, but women are, I consider them soil mind people. Men are more seed mind people. So Elizabeth Warren, just the fact that she's a woman, she's going to have more of a heart than the typical guy, okay, who's just a plain seed person, who doesn't understand that he's the recipient of the resources that are delivered by the soil. Let's see. So I like Elizabeth Warren for that reason. I'm not sure what she stands for, because if you look at what issue do these people remind you of? What issue does Michael Bloomberg remind you of? What would be his signature issue? I don't know. What's Elizabeth Warren's signature issue? If somebody said, what do you think about Elizabeth Warren? What is her signature issue? I'm not sure. I don't know. Joe Biden, what's his signature issue? Well, I was vice president under Barack Obama. Okay. So how's that going to help the bottom third of the economic scale people, because you were vice president under Barack Obama? Bernie Sanders, I can name a couple of issues for Bernie Sanders. Well, three of them. Let's see. There's federal jobs guarantee. That's one of his issues. And universal health care, or Medicare for all. And eliminating the student debt. Student death. That's about what we've got, where we're putting students through the death march when they go to college and they get out and there's no jobs for them. Pete Buttigieg, I don't know what his issue is at all. I mean, he's got a slick energy field, a slick talker and everything, but I'm not sure what he stands for. He's real slick with things, and he doesn't have any ideas. Amy Klobuchar is tough, but I'm not sure what's her signature issue. So the way I look at it, nobody's got a signature issue but Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders has kind of a clunky way of delivering it, and nobody has what Andrew Yang had, which is the universal basic income, and universal basic income paid for by transaction tax that everybody's going to be paying, to me is okay, because the people on the bottom won't be spending as much, so they won't be paying as much into this transaction tax as people on the top. The more you spend, the more you pay into the transaction tax. And it's good, because then this transaction tax is distributed all the way back to the bottom again. And then the money flow happens. You get money flow in circulation, more like nature intends, and nature does use with circulation, where everything circulates all of the time in nature, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So when we change the paradigm, because it's time, we've got to change the paradigm in the United States and worldwide, because we can't just keep growing, building more buildings and building more buildings while other buildings just kind of rot away. We're at a place And one of the ways you can see it big time is like when I was growing up, it was like 50s, 60s, 70s. There were new roads being built all over the country. You know, new roads were being paved and built, pathways, distribution lines were being set up all over the place for people to move. Now, there aren't too many new roads that are cut that I see. It's all just refurbishing of the old roads. Okay, so roads is a big thing, and everybody contributed to building roads, so Amazon.com doesn't make too much money if they can't drive on, basically, you could call it socialistic, or their community built infrastructure that everybody has built. So this is why this universal basic income has to happen. We've got to have a paradigm shift. It's going to happen come hook or by crook, you know. We just can't keep moving money up to the billionaire class and having it go back down to the level of the TV networks, like with Michael Bloomberg. So he's just buying up all the TV he can. Now nobody can even run a TV ad, even if you run a local race. How are you going to run the TV ads? All the TV space is bought already, you know, by one guy. So, and the level of the TV ads, that doesn't feed the bottom people. Now, Dave Chappelle, I heard him talking with Andrew Yang, and Dave Chappelle said his hometown of Dayton, Ohio, 1/3 of the people are living below the poverty rate there, 1/3. So, look, how can we, you know, do this to people in the United States of America? We've got to start something like a universal basic income where we have circulation from the bottom up every month. That's really going to help. Anything else, all these candidates, I don't know. Is somebody going to adopt universal basic income into their platform? Because otherwise, take a look at the people. What's their signature issue? Nobody's got any signature issues that I even know of. You know, I know of Bernie Sanders' signature issues, but paying for it with trying to tax the wealthy is really going to be difficult. So the UBI with having a transaction tax, now you're talking. Okay. So I've been meandering here and metaphysically musing about this whole thing. Donald Trump, he doesn't have any answers for anything. He said he was going to lower prescription drug costs, and some people think that they're getting lower prescription drug costs. I don't know, as I talk around. I don't see it. You know, the pharmaceutical companies are ramping up their money, and all of them have as their figurehead some guy who's making like $10 million a year, $50 million a year, $100 million a year. So it's all leverager type money, never goes back down to the bottom. It goes up, 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 up. And then money owed gets greater and greater and greater when people, if they don't send in their credit card bill on time, then they're paying fines and everything like that. That's adding up to billions of dollars. So money owed just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher, even though money really wasn't spent. Money owed is getting higher. So how far do you want this to go before the whole thing explodes? So, done with ranting and raving today. So, anyway, I'm Ed Lemberger. This is Metaphysical Musing. The candidates, the presidential race, but really, when are we going to move into a different paradigm of operating here in the United States? Well, it's going to happen because it must happen, because the evolution of nature says that it must happen. And is it going to happen in an easy way, or is it going to happen in a tough way? Right now, we're still moving on this tough way thing. We think competition is the greatest thing, when nature really doesn't cooperate. It really doesn't cooperate. Really doesn't compete, does it? It cooperates. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing this video. Thanks for liking my video. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for everything. Out. Here we go. Thank you. Bye.